The Silent Strike. The quantum sensors aboard the Ganymede research station registered the anomaly 3 days before everything changed. Dr. Sarah Chen, lead researcher of humanity's Deep Space Detection Program, studied the readings with growing concern. The distortion pattern suggested the presence of multiple large vessels using some form of faster-than-light travel, but they weren't matching any known human signatures. "Director Hamilton, you need to see this," she called over the station's secure channel. The aging station director appeared on her holographic display within moments, his expression grave. They both knew what this meant. First contact was imminent. Humanity had spread throughout the solar system over the past 2 centuries, establishing colonies on Mars, Venus, and several moons of Jupiter and Saturn. Their technological progress had been careful and measured, always maintaining the appearance of a younger civilization still finding its way among the stars. But appearances could be deceiving. The Arcturus Empire's warships emerged from hyperspace without warning or declaration. 12 massive vessels, each spanning several kilometers in length, their hulls adorned with the distinctive purple and gold markings of the Empire's first strike fleet. They positioned themselves in a perfect attack formation around the station. "This is High Commander Vexthor of the Arcturus Empire." The transmission cut through all communication channels. "Your species has been deemed a potential threat to galactic stability. Surrender your station and prepare for immediate subjugation." Director Hamilton stood before the station's primary communication array, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "This is Director James Hamilton of the Ganymede Research Station. We are a peaceful facility conducting scientific research. We have no hostile intentions toward your empire or any other civilization." The response came in the form of energy weapons fire. The station's outer hull, appearing vulnerable and primitive to Imperial scanners, absorbed the initial barrage without visible damage, a fact that seemed to give the attackers pause, if only briefly. What the Arcturus Empire couldn't know, was that humanity had been preparing for this moment for over a century. The apparent fragility of their stations and ships masked quantum-reinforced armor and energy dissipation systems far beyond what the Empire believed possible for a young species. Deep within secure bunkers on Earth, Mars, and throughout the solar system, emergency protocols activated. Humanity's true fleet, hidden in dimensional pocket spaces and underground bases, began powering up. But they would wait, gathering intelligence about their adversaries' capabilities, while maintaining the illusion of vulnerability. The station's AI, initiated emergency protocols while broadcasting a distress signal on all human frequencies. The signal contained more than just a cry for help. It carried detailed scans of the Imperial vessels, their weapon signatures, shield frequencies, and communication patterns. Commander Vexthor's voice returned, tinged with frustration. "Your resistance is noted, but futile. The Empire has designated your species for immediate containment. Your technological development rate exceeds acceptable parameters for unaligned civilizations." Director Hamilton's response was measured, buying time as ARIA completed her analysis. "Commander, we are willing to discuss any concerns your empire may have about our development. There's no need for military action." The Empire's response came in the form of a second barrage, this time targeting the station's apparent power cores. The shots passed through elaborate holographic projections, striking empty space where critical systems appeared to be but weren't. In the hours that followed, the Empire's attack continued, methodically targeting what they believed to be crucial systems. The station's true defensive capabilities remained hidden, its actual critical infrastructure protected by technologies the Empire hadn't encountered in their 1,000-year history of conquest. On Earth, the Security Council convened in their underground chamber beneath the Himalayas. Admiral Helena Reyes, commander of humanity's hidden fleet, presented her assessment. "The Arcturus Empire has revealed their hand earlier than we anticipated. Their technology is formidable, but not beyond our capabilities. More concerning is their willingness to attack without provocation." Council leader John Wei nodded gravely. We knew this day would come. Humanity has spent generations preparing, hiding our true capabilities while developing technologies that could protect us from exactly this type of aggression. The question now is, do we reveal ourselves fully or continue to gather intelligence while appearing vulnerable? The decision was made for them when Imperial reinforcements arrived. This time, they didn't target the station's infrastructure. Instead, they opened fire on the civilian transport vessels docked at the station's outer ports. Ships carrying scientists, maintenance crews, and their families. The station's true shields snapped into place microseconds before impact, but the Empire's intention was clear. They were willing to target civilians to achieve their goals. Admiral Rice's voice was cold as she gave the order that would change the course of human history. Initiative Prometheus is now active. All fleet elements, prepare for emergence. Show them exactly who they've chosen to provoke. As the Empire's ships prepared another attack run, space itself seemed to tear open around them. Humanity's hidden fleet began to emerge, vessels of designs the Empire had never encountered, powered by technologies they had never imagined possible. The real war was about to begin, and the Arcturus Empire was about to learn the price of their arrogance. The Hidden Shield. The emergence of humanity's true fleet marked the beginning of what historians would later call the Great Revelation. Ships of impossible design materialized from dimensional pockets scattered throughout the solar system, their hulls gleaming with an iridescent material that seemed to drink in both light and sensor scans. Admiral Rice stood on the bridge of the HSS Thermopylae, humanity's first Titan-class battleship. Though it had been constructed over 50 years ago, this was its first time operating without stealth systems. The vessel's quantum cores hummed with power that had remained dormant for decades, waiting for this precise moment. "Status report," she commanded, watching as more ships joined her battle group. "All ships reporting ready." Admiral, her XO, Commander David Chen, responded. "The Empire's fleet appears to be confused. Their sensor arrays are cycling through frequencies, trying to make sense of our vessel's signatures." On the Imperial flagship, High Commander Vexthor struggled to comprehend what his sensors were telling him. Where moments ago there had been only a seemingly primitive research station and a handful of civilian vessels, now there was a fleet that rivaled the Empire's own first strike force. More concerning were the energy readings. Nothing in the Imperial database matched what they were detecting. "Impossible," he muttered, his four eyes blinking in rapid succession. Their technological level was assessed at Grade 3 development. These ships, these readings suggest Grade 7 or higher. His tactical officer, a veteran of countless subjugation campaigns, spoke up. "Sir, we're detecting energy signatures that suggest their vessels are powered by contained quantum singularities. Our intelligence suggested they were still using fusion reactors." The reality of their situation was becoming clear. The Empire had not discovered a primitive civilization ripe for conquest. They had awakened a sleeping giant that had deliberately hidden its true nature. Admiral Rice's voice cut through all Imperial communication channels, transmitted in perfect Arcturian. "This is Admiral Helena Reyes of the Human Defense Fleet. You have committed an act of unprovoked aggression against our people. You have targeted civilian vessels. You have demonstrated hostile intent against a peaceful station. These actions cannot go unanswered." The Imperial ships began to shift formation, their weapons charging. But before they could fire, the human fleet demonstrated just how outmatched the Empire truly was. Quantum-locked tachyon beams lanced out from the human vessels, bypassing Imperial shields as if they didn't exist. The beams didn't destroy their targets. Instead, they simply disabled them, shutting down primary and secondary power systems with surgical precision. "As you can see," Rice continued, "we possess technologies far beyond what you believed possible. We have spent generations preparing for this moment, hiding our true capabilities while watching the Empire's expansion with growing concern." On the Thermopylae's bridge, Commander Chen monitored the Imperial ship's status. "Their power systems are completely offline, Admiral. Our quantum disruptors worked exactly as designed." They're dead in space. Reyes nodded, her expression grim. Launch the proof-of-concept packages. Let's show them exactly what they're dealing with. Small, autonomous drones deployed from the human fleet, approaching the disabled Imperial vessels. These devices, containing examples of human technological achievements, began transmitting data directly to the Empire's ships. The message was clear. Humanity had not just matched Imperial technology. They had surpassed it in many ways. The data packages included evidence of human achievements: stable artificial gravity without rotation, true AI development, quantum communication networks, and perhaps most importantly, the ability to detect and track Imperial ships even when they were in hyperspace. High Commander Vexthor watched as the data streamed across his emergency displays, his mandibles clicking in agitation. Everything he had believed about this species, everything the Empire had assumed, was wrong. The humans hadn't developed quickly. They had developed carefully, deliberately maintaining the appearance of a younger civilization, while preparing for exactly this type of confrontation. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "we're detecting more human vessels emerging throughout the system. They appear to have constructed defensive installations inside several gas giants. The energy readings, they're beyond anything in our database." The true extent of human preparation was becoming clear. Their solar system wasn't just defended. It was a fortress, with weapons and defensive systems hidden in places the Empire would never have thought to look. Admiral Rice's voice returned to the Imperial channels. "You have a choice, Commander. You can accept temporary detention while we negotiate with your Empire for reparations, or you can force us to demonstrate more of our capabilities. Choose wisely." The decision didn't take long. With their ships disabled and faced with technology they couldn't comprehend, the Imperial force surrendered. As human boarding teams secured the Empire's vessels, Admiral Rice turned to her XO. "Send word to the Council. Tell them it's time for Phase 2. The Empire needs to understand that humanity isn't just capable of defending itself. We're capable of taking the fight to them if necessary." Throughout the solar system, more human ships emerged from hiding. Vessels that had been constructed in secret, technologies that had been developed in silence, all now revealing themselves. The message to the galaxy was clear. Humanity had never been helpless. They had simply been patient. Operation Stormbreak. The quantum communication network carried humanity's message to every corner of known space. It wasn't just a declaration of capability. It was a warning. The carefully crafted transmission included detailed scans of the disabled Imperial fleet, proof of human technological superiority, and a simple ultimatum: cease all hostile actions against Earth and its colonies, or face the consequences. In the Imperial capital on Arcturus Prime, the High Council gathered in emergency session. The quantum packet had bypassed all their security measures, appearing simultaneously on every display device in the Empire. The humans hadn't just defeated their first strike fleet. They had demonstrated an ability to penetrate the Empire's most secure communications networks. Supreme Counselor Zexfera, leader of the Empire for over 3 centuries, watched the recorded message for the 12th time. The human admiral's words were precise, her tone measured but carrying an unmistakable threat. "The Empire has consistently underestimated humanity," Admiral Rice's recording stated. "You saw our careful development as weakness, our measured expansion as limitation, our diplomatic overtures as fear. You were wrong. We are now initiating Operation Stormbreak. You have 24 hours to recall all Imperial military forces to defensive positions. Any Imperial vessel found outside its home system after this deadline will be considered hostile and dealt with accordingly." The council chamber erupted in debate. Some called for immediate retaliation with the Empire's full military might. Others, seeing the technical specifications of human weapons and defenses included in the transmission, advocated for immediate compliance. Back in Sol system, humanity's fleet was already in motion. Ships equipped with quantum slip drives, technology the Empire had thought impossible, began appearing near key Imperial military installations. They didn't attack. They simply waited, gathering intelligence and demonstrating their ability to strike at will. Admiral Reyes stood on the Thermopyla's observation deck, watching as captured Imperial vessels were escorted to secure facilities near Mars. The prisoners had been treated well, but their interrogations had revealed disturbing information about the Empire's long-term plans for humanity. "They'd done this before," she said to Commander Chen, who stood at her side. "Smaller civilizations, younger species, all either absorbed or eliminated because they developed too quickly for the Empire's comfort." Chen nodded grimly. "The difference is, none of those civilizations spent centuries preparing for this moment. None of them had the advantage of Earth's violent history to teach them the importance of strength through preparedness." The quantum sensors registered multiple Imperial fleets moving into defensive formations around their core worlds. The Empire was clearly taking the human ultimatum seriously, but whether they would comply fully remained to be seen. As the deadline approached, humanity revealed another aspect of their hidden capabilities. Quantum beacons activated throughout Imperial space, devices that had been secretly placed by automated probes decades ago. These beacons began broadcasting a simple message on all frequencies. "We have always been watching. We have always been preparing. Choose peace or face extinction." The psychological impact was devastating. The Empire's carefully maintained image of technological superiority crumbled as they realized the extent of human infiltration. Their own citizens began questioning their leadership's decisions, especially as more information about the Empire's history of subjugating younger civilizations came to light. With just hours remaining before the deadline, Supreme Counselor Zexfera made her decision. The Empire would stand down. The cost of challenging humanity's ultimatum was too high, the risk of total defeat too great. But not everyone in the Empire agreed with this decision. As the deadline approached, a splinter faction of Imperial hardliners launched a desperate attack on Earth's Monroe colony on Mars. They believed that if they could strike a significant blow against humanity's civilian population, it would force the humans to negotiate from a position of weakness. They couldn't have been more wrong. The attack force never reached Mars. Quantum defense grids, hidden beneath the Martian surface, activated automatically. The Imperial ships found themselves trapped in a complex web of gravitational distortions, their weapons and engines completely neutralized. Admiral Rice's response was swift and decisive. "They've made their choice," she transmitted to all human forces. "Execute Phase 3 of Operation Stormbreak. Show them exactly what happens when they target our people." Across Imperial space, human ships emerged from quantum-slipped space. They didn't target military installations or fleet concentrations. Instead, they struck at the very heart of Imperial power. Their quantum communication networks, their hyperspace navigation beacons, their supply lines. In less than 6 hours, the Empire's ability to coordinate its forces or project power beyond its core systems was completely eliminated. Humanity had effectively trapped the Empire's military forces in their home systems, unable to communicate effectively or navigate safely through hyperspace. The message was clear. Humanity could have destroyed them, but chose instead to demonstrate mercy while ensuring they could no longer threaten others. The Empire's twilight. The fall of the Arcturus Empire happened not with a grand battle or a devastating strike, but with the quiet realization that they had already lost. As Imperial citizens watched their mighty war fleets drift helplessly in their home systems, cut off from the quantum communication networks that had bound their civilization together, the truth became undeniable. In the Imperial Palace on Arcturus Prime, Supreme Counselor Zexfera faced the inevitable. The humans hadn't just defeated their military. They had systematically dismantled the very infrastructure that made the Empire possible. More concerning were the reports now flooding in from across Imperial space as centuries of carefully hidden secrets came to light. Admiral Rice stood before the United Earth Council, delivering her report on the operation's success. The chamber was packed with representatives from every human settlement, all watching as holographic displays showed the current state of the Empire. "The Imperial military has been effectively contained," she stated, her voice carrying across the silent chamber. "Their ability to coordinate fleet movements or maintain supply lines has been completely neutralized. More importantly, we've secured access to their historical databases." The displays shifted, showing records of countless civilizations the Empire had subjugated or destroyed over the centuries. Young species who had developed too quickly, who had shown too much promise, all erased from existence by an empire that feared any challenge to its dominance. "What we've uncovered goes beyond simple conquest," Rice continued. "The Empire has been systematically suppressing technological advancement throughout the galaxy. Any civilization that showed signs of rapid development was either forcibly integrated or eliminated." The council chamber erupted in murmurs of disgust and anger. Humanity had suspected the Empire's nature, but the reality was far worse than they had imagined. The evidence showed centuries of calculated genocide, all in the name of maintaining imperial superiority. Meanwhile, on countless imperial worlds, the truth was spreading. Humanity's quantum infiltration hadn't just disabled military communications, it had given them access to the Empire's secure databases. Information about the Empire's true history began appearing on public networks, impossible to suppress or censor. The reaction among Imperial citizens was dramatic. Protests erupted on core worlds as people learned the truth about their civilization's bloody history. The carefully maintained myth of imperial benevolence crumbled in the face of undeniable evidence. In orbital stations around Earth, the captured imperial commanders watched in disbelief as their empire began to tear itself apart. High Commander Vexthor, still under house arrest in a luxurious diplomatic facility, finally understood the full scope of humanity's victory. "You never needed to defeat us militarily," he said to Admiral Reyes during one of her visits. "You knew our greatest weakness was the truth." Reyes nodded. "Your empire was built on lies. Lies about your technological superiority, lies about your divine right to rule, lies about the civilizations you destroyed. We simply had to expose those lies to your own people." The Empire's twilight accelerated as more worlds declared independence. Without the quantum communication networks and hyperspace lanes that humanity now controlled, the Empire couldn't maintain its grip on its vast territories. System by system, world by world, the Empire began to fragment. Dawn of the New Order. The collapse of the Arcturus Empire created a power vacuum that threatened to destabilize the entire galaxy. But humanity had prepared for this too. As the Empire's former territories declared independence, human diplomats were there, offering assistance and protection. The United Earth Council convened an emergency session to address the changing galactic landscape. President Sarah Chen, formerly Dr. Chen of the Ganymede Research Station, stood before the assembled representatives. "We have an opportunity and a responsibility," she declared. "The Empire's fall has revealed dozens of young civilizations, some barely reaching for the stars, others nearly destroyed by imperial suppression. We can help them. We can ensure that no empire ever again threatens the natural development of sentient species." The Galactic Concordat was born from this vision. A new organization, led jointly by humanity and reformed imperial worlds, dedicated to protecting the rights of developing civilizations. The advanced technology humanity had hidden for so long would now be used to safeguard the weak, to nurture the young, to ensure that every species had the chance to reach its full potential. Admiral Reyes, now Supreme Commander of the Concordat Defense Force, oversaw the transformation of humanity's hidden fleet into a peacekeeping armada. Their ships, once instruments of secret preparation, became visible guardians of civilization. The quantum network that had helped bring down the Empire was repurposed, becoming the foundation of a new galactic communication system. But this time, it would be used to share knowledge, not suppress it. To connect civilizations, not control them. On what was once Arcturus Prime, now renamed Unity Station, representatives from 100 worlds gathered to sign the Concordat Charter. Among them were former imperial citizens, leaders of newly freed worlds, and humans who had helped orchestrate the Empire's peaceful dissolution. The Charter's first article set the tone for this new era. All sentient species have the fundamental right to develop according to their own path, free from external suppression or forced advancement. The Concordat exists to protect this right. As the ceremony concluded, Admiral Reyes stood with President Chen, watching as delegates from former enemy worlds mingled with representatives of newly discovered civilizations. "Did you ever imagine this outcome when you first detected their ships at Ganymede?" Reyes asked. Chen smiled. "Not exactly this, but I knew humanity's patience and preparation would pay off. We spent centuries hiding our true nature, not out of fear, but because we understood something the Empire never did." "What's that?" "That true strength isn't about domination. It's about protection, about using power responsibly. The Empire fell because they never understood this simple truth." As they spoke, reports came in from across the galaxy. New civilizations, hidden for centuries from imperial censors, were making contact. Species that had buried their technology, much as humanity had hidden theirs, were emerging. The galaxy was awakening to a new age of cooperation and protected development. The humans had not just defeated an empire. They had replaced it with something better. They had turned their centuries of hidden preparation into a foundation for lasting peace. The price of imperial arrogance had been their downfall, but from that fall, a new order had risen. And at its heart was the principle that had guided humanity's long preparation. The strong must protect the weak, not dominate them. The galaxy would never be the same.